I inherited $17 million, but an accident exposed my husband's plot to fake my death. 3 months ago, I sat in my grandmother's lawyer's office and learned I was now worth $17 million. Today I'm sitting in a hospital bed with a broken arm and bruised ribs, watching my husband turn white as a ghost because I'm still breathing. Let me take you back to the beginning. My name is Amara Bennett, and until 3 months ago, I was living what I thought was a simple, happy life. I worked as a nurse at Atlanta General Hospital, pulling long shifts and coming home to my husband Marcus in our modest 2-bedroom apartment in Decatur. We'd been married for 5 years, met in college, fell in love over late-night study sessions and cheap pizza, got married right after graduation. Marcus worked in pharmaceutical sales. He made decent money, enough that we were comfortable. We talked about buying a house soon, maybe starting a family. Normal dreams for a normal couple. I should have noticed the signs earlier. Looking back now, they were all there. The way Marcus always seemed interested in my grandmother's health. The questions about her will. The casual mentions of what we'd do if we suddenly had money. My grandmother Josephine was my last living relative. My parents died in a car accident when I was 8, and Grandma Jo raised me. She was a tough woman, smart as a whip, built her own real estate business from nothing back in the 1970s. She owned apartment buildings all over Atlanta, plus commercial properties. But she lived simply, drove a 15-year-old Camry, clipped coupons. I knew she had money, but I never thought much about it. She was just Grandma. She made the best peach cobbler, taught me to play chess, told me stories about growing up in Alabama during segregation. Money was never what mattered between us. She got sick last year, pancreatic cancer. The doctors gave her 6 months. She lasted 8, stubborn until the end. I spent every free moment with her, holding her hand, reading to her, making sure she wasn't in pain. Marcus came to the hospital sometimes, but not often. Said it was too hard to see her like that. I understood, or thought I did. Death is difficult for everyone. 2 days before she passed, Grandma Jo squeezed my hand and whispered, "I took care of you, baby. You're going to be just fine. Don't let anyone take advantage of your kind heart." You hear me? I promised, not really understanding what she meant. She died peacefully on a Tuesday morning. I was holding her hand. Marcus was at a sales conference in Miami. The funeral was small. Grandma didn't have many friends left. Most had passed before her. Some church ladies came, a few tenants from her buildings, her lawyer, Mr. Chun. A week after the funeral, Mr. Chun called and asked me to come to his office. Marcus insisted on coming with me. "It's about your grandmother's estate," Mr. Chun said. "I need to go over her will with you." We sat in his office, all leather and dark wood and law books. Mr. Chun was in his 70s, had been Grandma Jo's lawyer for 40 years. He opened a folder, adjusted his glasses, and looked at me. "Amara, your grandmother was a very wealthy woman. She instructed me not to tell you the extent of her assets while she was alive. She wanted you to love her for who she was, not what she had." I nodded, confused. "She left everything to you. The buildings, the investment accounts, the stocks, the bonds. Everything. How much is everything?" Marcus asked. His voice was tight, excited. Mr. Chin looked at me. "After taxes and estate fees, approximately $17 million. The room spun. I gripped the arms of my chair. $17 million. That couldn't be real. Marcus let out a sound, something between a gasp and a laugh. 17 million? Yes, Mr. Chin said. He was still looking at me. "Mrs. Bennett, your grandmother left very specific instructions. The estate is in a trust. You'll receive a monthly distribution, and you have access to the principal for reasonable expenses, but there are restrictions." "What kind of restrictions?" Marcus leaned forward. "The primary restriction is that the inheritance cannot be shared with a spouse in the event of divorce. It remains Amara's separate property under Georgia law. Additionally, if Amara were to pass away within 5 years of inheriting, the estate would go to various charities, not to her spouse." Marcus sat back. Something flickered across his face, too fast for me to read. Mr. Chin continued, "Your grandmother was very clear about this. She wanted to protect you and her life's work. She asked me to tell you to be wise, be careful, and trust your instincts. I barely heard him. $17 million. My grandmother had been a millionaire and I never knew. There's more, Mr. Chin said. He pulled out another document. She also left you this letter. She asked that you read it alone. He handed me a cream-colored envelope, my name written in Grandma Joe's shaky handwriting. Marcus drove home. I sat in the passenger seat, clutching the envelope. He kept talking, making plans. We could buy a house, a big one. Travel. He could quit his job, or maybe start his own company. We could have anything we wanted. I wasn't really listening. I kept thinking about Grandma Joe, about her warnings, about why she'd kept this secret. At home, I went into the bedroom and opened the letter. My dearest Amara, it began. If you're reading this, I'm gone, and you know now about the money. I kept it secret for a reason. I watched how Marcus looked at dollar signs. I saw how he changed when he thought there might be money in the picture. I hope I'm wrong about him. I truly do, because I know you love him. But baby, I've lived long enough to know that money changes people. It brings out who they really are. Be careful. Protect yourself. You have a good heart, but the world isn't always good. Trust your instincts. If something feels wrong, it probably is. I love you always. Grandma Joe. My hand shook as I read it twice, 3 times. Marcus, laughing in the living room, talking on the phone to someone, probably his brother, probably telling him about the money. I folded the letter and tucked it into my jewelry box in the secret compartment where I kept my mother's wedding ring. That night, Marcus was different, attentive in a way he hadn't been in months. He made dinner, poured wine, told me how proud he was of me, how this was our chance at a real life. We should celebrate, he said. Let's take a trip. Paris. You always wanted to go to Paris. I need to figure things out first, I said. The estate, the properties, what I'm going to do. You don't have to do anything. That's the beauty of it. You can quit your job, relax. I like my job. He smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. Of course. I just mean you have options now. We have options. Over the next few weeks, Marcus kept pushing. Quit your job. Buy a new house. Get a new car. Let's start living like we have money. But something in Grandma Joe's letter stuck with me. I didn't quit. I didn't buy anything big. I paid off our small debts, put some money in savings, kept working my shifts. Marcus grew frustrated. He'd come home from work, see me in my scrubs, and his face would tighten. What's the point of having money if we're going to live like we're broke? He asked one night. We're not broke. We're being smart. Smart. Right. He grabbed a beer from the fridge. Your grandmother left you $17 million and you're still working 12-hour shifts. I like helping people. You could help people with your money. Donate it. Start a charity. Do something. I will. I just need time to think. He stared at me for a long moment, then walked out. I heard him on the phone in the bedroom, voice low and angry. That's when I started paying attention. Marcus thought I was asleep when he made his late-night calls. He'd go into the bathroom, turn on the shower for noise, talk in hushed tones. I couldn't hear everything, but I caught pieces. 5 years, he said once. We just have to wait 5 years. Another time. There has to be another way. 5 years is too long. I lay in bed, heart pounding, trying to understand. What did 5 years mean? Then I remembered. Mr. Chen had said if I died within 5 years, the money would go to charity, not to Marcus. My husband was talking about killing me. The thought was so absurd I almost laughed. Marcus, who cried at dog movies. Marcus, who brought me flowers on random Tuesdays. Marcus, who promised to love me forever. But the calls continued, and he started suggesting things. You should learn to ski, he said one morning. I booked us a trip to Colorado. The slopes there are amazing. I'd never skied in my life. That sounds dangerous. It'll be fun. I'll teach you. Maybe another time. His jaw clenched, but he smiled. Sure. Another time. A week later, I signed us up for scuba diving lessons. There's this great spot in the Bahamas. I can't swim that well. That's why we'll take lessons first. Marcus, I'm not comfortable with that. You're never comfortable with anything anymore. You're afraid to live. I'm not afraid. I'm careful. Careful is another word for scared. We fought more. Little things at first. I left dishes in the sink. He forgot to buy milk. But the tension underneath was thick and ugly. I started documenting things. When he made a call, I'd note the time and date. When he suggested an activity, I'd write it down. Skiing, scuba diving, hiking in remote areas, rock climbing, zip lining, always something where an accident could happen. I opened a separate bank account he didn't know about. Put money in it just in case. I updated my will, made sure everything was ironclad. If something happened to me, Marcus wouldn't see a dime. He sensed me pulling away, tried to be sweet again, bought me gifts, cooked dinner, told me he loved me. But I'd see him looking at me sometimes with this expression I couldn't read. Calculating, measuring. I confided in my friend Lakeisha. We've been friends since nursing school, worked the same shifts. I didn't tell her everything, just enough. That Marcus was acting strange, that I felt uncomfortable. Girl, you need to trust your gut, she said. If something feels off, it probably is. I sound paranoid. You sound smart. How many women ignore the warning signs until it's too late? She was right. I knew she was right. Then Marcus suggested a road trip. Just the two of us. Up the coast. We could drive to Charleston, stay at bed and breakfast, eat good food. No pressure, no stress. What do you say? Part of me wanted to say no. But part of me thought maybe I was being paranoid. Maybe the calls were about something else. Maybe Marcus was just excited about the money and I was reading too much into things. Okay, I said. Let's go. His smile was bright, genuine seeming. You won't regret this, baby. I promise. We left on a Saturday morning. Marcus insisted on driving his car, an older model sedan he'd had since college. I offered to rent something newer, more reliable. He said no, his car was fine, ran great. The first day was actually nice. We drove through Georgia countryside, stopped at a farmer's market, bought fresh peaches. Marcus was funny, relaxed, the man I'd married. I started to think maybe I'd been wrong. Maybe the stress of the inheritance had made me paranoid. We spent the night in Savannah, walked around the historic district, ate dinner at a restaurant by the river. Marcus ordered champagne. To us, he said, raising his glass. To our future. To our future, I echoed, and I tried to believe it. The next day, we continued north. The weather turned bad around noon. Rain, heavy and persistent. Marcus said we should push through, make it to Charleston by evening. We could stop, I suggested. Wait out the weather. It's just rain. I've driven in worse. The roads got slick. Visibility dropped. I gripped the door handle, watching the highway blur past. Marcus, slow down. I'm fine. I know what I'm doing. Please, you're making me nervous. He glanced at me, something in his eyes I couldn't read. Then he looked back at the road. Sorry, you're right. He didn't slow down. We were on a 2-lane highway, winding through hills. The rain was coming down in sheets now. Other cars had pulled over to wait it out. Marcus, stop. Let's wait. We're almost there. Just another hour. I don't care. Pull over. Amara, stop being so paranoid. That word. Paranoid. The same word I'd been calling myself. We came around a curve too fast. The car slid. Marcus overcorrected. We spun once, twice. I screamed. We hit something hard. The airbags exploded. The car flipped. Everything went black. I woke up to voices, bright lights, sirens. Someone was pulling me from the car. A paramedic, asking my name, asking if I could hear him. Marcus, I tried to say. My husband. He's okay, ma'am. You're both going to be okay. They loaded me into an ambulance. Everything hurt. My arm, my ribs, my head. But I was alive. At the hospital, they x-rayed me, checked for internal injuries. Broken arm, fractured ribs, concussion. Lucky, they said. You're very lucky. Marcus had minor injuries. Cuts, bruises, whiplash. He was in another room, being checked out. They admitted me overnight for observation. Gave me pain medication. I drifted in and out. When I woke up, it was dark. My arm was in a cast, my ribs wrapped tight. Every breath hurt. A nurse came in, young woman named Destiny. How you feeling, hun? Like I got hit by a truck. Close enough. You need anything? More pain meds? What time is it? Little after midnight. Your husband's been asking about you. You want me to let him come see you? Something in me went cold. No, not yet. I need to rest. She nodded. Okay, you rest. Call if you need anything. She left. I lay there in the dark, thinking. The car accident. We'd spun out on a wet curve. Marcus had been driving too fast, ignored my request to slow down. Was it really an accident? Or had he been planning it? My mind was foggy from the pain meds, but I tried to remember details. The moment before we crashed. Marcus' hands on the wheel. Had he turned into the spin on purpose? Or had he really lost control? I couldn't be sure, but my grandmother's words echoed in my head. Trust your instincts. If something feels wrong, it probably is. The door opened. I tensed, but it was just a different nurse, checking my vitals. Your husband's pretty worried about you, she said, adjusting my four. He's been pacing out there for hours. What hospital am I in? East Side Regional. About 30 miles south of Charleston. Can I make a phone call? Sure, hon, there's a phone right there. She pointed to the bedside table, finished checking my chart, and left. I picked up the phone, wincing at the pain in my ribs. Called Lakeisha. Hello. She sounded groggy. It's me. Amara? Girl, what time is it? Where are you? Hospital. There was a car accident. What? Are you okay? I'm alive. Lakeisha, I need you to do something for me. I told her where I was, asked her to call Mr. Chin first thing in the morning, asked her to make sure he knew what happened, asked her to tell him I needed to talk to him as soon as possible. You're scaring me, she said. What's going on? I can't explain right now. Just please call him. Tell him it's urgent. Okay, I will. And Amara? Be careful. I will. I hung up, lay back against the pillows. My whole body ached. But I was alive, and that meant Marcus' plan, if he'd had one, had failed. The door opened again. This time it was him. Marcus stood in the doorway, backlit by the hall lights. He looked terrible. Hair disheveled, face scratched, clothes torn. But his eyes were what got me. They weren't worried or relieved. They were calculating. Baby, he said, voice breaking. Thank God you're okay. He moved toward me. I flinched. He stopped. Amara? Don't come closer. What? Why? I'm your husband. I was so worried. Stay there. He stared at me. Something shifted in his expression. The mask slipped, just for a second, and I saw the truth underneath. You weren't worried I'd die, I said. You were worried I'd live. What are you talking about? Baby, you're confused. You hit your head. I hit my head because you drove into that spin on purpose. That's crazy. It was an accident. The roads were wet. I lost control. I asked you to slow down. You wouldn't. I was trying to get us to Charleston. I didn't want us stuck in a storm. You wanted me dead. The words hung in the air between us. Marcus stood frozen, his face pale in the dim light. Amara, that's the pain medication talking. You don't know what you're saying. I know exactly what I'm saying. 5 years, Marcus. That's what you said on the phone. We just have to wait 5 years. But that was too long for you, wasn't it? His face changed. The pretense dropped away. He crossed his arms, leaned against the wall. When he spoke, his voice was different. Cold. Flat. You were spying on me. You were planning to kill me. Don't be dramatic. Dramatic? You tried to crash the car to collect my inheritance. He laughed, actually laughed. Collect it? Baby, I can't collect anything. Your grandmother made sure of that with that trust. If you die in 5 years, it all goes to charity. I won't see a dime. So why? Because you changed. He pushed off the wall, started pacing. The woman I married was sweet, easy to talk to, listened to me. Then you inherited all that money and suddenly you're too good for me. Won't quit your job. Won't buy nice things. Won't even enjoy it. I was being responsible. You were being selfish. That money could have changed our lives. My life. But no, you had to hold on to it like some miser, just like your grandmother. So you decided to kill me? I decided to solve a problem. He stopped pacing, looked at me. If you died, I'd at least get the life insurance. $500,000. Not $17 million, but better than nothing. And without you around, reminding me every day of what I can't have, I could start over. Find someone new, someone grateful. I stared at him, this stranger with my husband's face. 5 years of marriage, and I'd never known who he really was. You're sick, I whispered. I'm practical. You just don't have the guts to admit that money matters more than love. At least I'm honest about it. Get out. Amara, get out. Now. Or I'll scream for security. He studied me for a long moment. Then he smiled, that calculating smile I'd seen too many times in the last few weeks. Fine. But you realize it's your word against mine, right? I'm the grieving husband who just survived a terrible accident with his wife. I was driving too fast in bad weather. It was a mistake. No one will believe you think I tried to kill you. You hit your head. You're on drugs. You're confused. He was right. Without proof, it was just an accusation. My paranoid fears against his grieving husband act. Goodbye, Marcus. He turned to leave, paused at the door. I'll file for divorce. Make it easy on both of us. You keep your money. I'll take my half of everything else. We split, move on. Sounds good to me. One thing though. He looked back. You might want to be careful. These roads are dangerous. Accidents happen all the time. It was a threat. Clear as day. Then he was gone. I lay there, shaking, pain medication wearing off, reality settling in. My husband had tried to kill me and just threatened to try again. I pressed the call button. The nurse, Destiny, came back in. You okay, hun? I need security. Now. What happened? My husband just threatened me. I need protection. Her eyes widened. Okay, I'll get security. And I'm gonna call the police. Please. And can you make sure no one lets him back in this room? Absolutely. You just rest. We'll take care of you. The next hour was a blur. Security came. Then police. I gave my statement, told them everything. About the calls. The suggestions for dangerous activities. The accident. Marcus' confession and threat. The officer taking my statement was a middle-aged white woman, Officer Patterson. She listened carefully, took notes. Ma'am, I'll be honest with you. Without more evidence, it's hard to prove attempted murder. The car accident just looks like bad weather and poor judgment. His words to you tonight are concerning, but could be explained as frustration or anger, not a direct threat. But he admitted it. He told me he wanted me dead for the insurance money. You're the only witness to that conversation. And he'll deny it. Lawyer up. Say you're confused from your injuries. So he gets away with it? I didn't say that. She closed her notebook. I'm saying you need to be smart. Protect yourself. Document everything. Get security cameras. Change your locks. File for divorce. Get a restraining order. Make it clear you're aware of his intentions and you're not an easy target anymore. What about the car? Can you examine it? See if he tampered with it? We'll look at it. But if he was planning this, he was probably smart enough not to leave obvious evidence. She was right. Marcus was smart. Careful. He'd been planning this for weeks, maybe months. After the police left, I called Mr. Chun. It was 3 a.m, but I didn't care. Amara? What's wrong? I told him everything. The accident, Marcus' confession, the threat. I'm coming there right now, he said. Don't talk to anyone else until I arrive. He showed up 2 hours later, looking alert despite the early hour. We talked for an hour. He recorded my statement, gave me advice, started making plans. First thing, we're filing for divorce and a restraining order. Second, I'm going to have security assigned to you 24/7 until Marcus is no longer a threat. Third, we're going to examine your grandmother's trust documents and make sure there are no loopholes Marcus could exploit. Thank you. Amara, your grandmother worried this might happen. Not exactly this, but something like it. That's why she structured the trust the way she did. She was protecting you even after death. I felt tears stinging my eyes. I miss her. She loved you very much. And she trusted you to be strong enough to handle this. Don't prove her wrong. I won't. Over the next few days, pieces fell into place. The police examined Marcus' car. The brake lines had been partially cut. Not enough to fail immediately, but enough to make them unreliable, especially at high speeds and wet conditions. Marcus had been counting on the accident looking natural. But he'd made one mistake. He'd done the work himself, left tool marks. And when police searched his phone, they found searches for how to cut brake lines, how to stage car accidents, life insurance payout timelines. He was arrested 3 days after the crash, charged with attempted murder. I watched from my hospital room as they led him away in handcuffs, saw his face on the news, his lawyer claiming innocence, claiming I'd made it all up. But the evidence was clear. His phone searches, the brake lines, and there was more. Police found he'd been having an affair with a woman named Crystal. She came forward when she heard about his arrest, said he'd promised her they'd be together once he solved his marriage problem. She wore a wire in their next conversation. He talked about the inheritance, about how I'd been too stupid to enjoy the money, about how the plan should have worked. That recording destroyed his defense. The trial was 6 months later. I sat in the courtroom, my arm long healed, ribs no longer aching. Watched as prosecutor laid out the case. The cut brake lines, the phone searches, Crystal's testimony, his own words on the recording. Marcus' lawyer tried to argue I'd planted evidence, that I was vengeful over an affair. But it didn't hold up. The brake lines had been cut before the trip. The phone searches dated back weeks. His own voice convicted him. The jury took 3 hours to find him guilty. Attempted murder. The judge sentenced him to 15 years in prison. I didn't feel victorious, just tired and sad. Sad for the years I'd wasted. Sad for the man I'd thought I married, who never really existed. But I was alive, and I had a chance to start over. I used some of the inheritance to start a foundation in my grandmother's name. We provided legal assistance to women leaving dangerous relationships, helped them find housing, jobs, safety. The thing Grandma Jo had given me, protection and security, I wanted to give to others. I kept working as a nurse, not because I had to, but because I wanted to, because helping people mattered more than money ever could. I bought a modest house, nothing flashy, put security cameras everywhere, had the best alarm system installed, learned to trust my instincts, to listen when something felt wrong. A year after the trial, I was grocery shopping when someone called my name. I turned. A woman in her 40s, Hispanic, pretty smile. You probably don't remember me, but I wanted to say thank you. I'm sorry, do I know you? My name is Rosa. Your foundation helped me leave my ex-husband. She paused, gathering courage. He was going to kill me. I knew it, but I had nowhere to go, no money. Your foundation gave me a lawyer, helped me get a restraining order, found me a place to live. I have a job now. My kids are safe. Because of you. Tears filled my eyes. I'm so glad you're safe. I read about what happened to you. I'm sorry you went through that. But I want you to know, you turning your pain into help for others, it matters. It really matters. She hugged me, and I hugged her back. 2 survivors in a grocery store, holding on. That's when I knew. Grandma Jo's inheritance wasn't just money. It was opportunity. The chance to turn something terrible into something good. To help others the way she'd helped me. Marcus sits in prison. I don't think about him much anymore. Sometimes I see him in nightmares, behind the wheel, the rain falling, that look in his eyes. But mostly I think about Rosa. About the 200 other women the foundation has helped. About the lives saved. I think about Grandma Jo, how she knew. How she tried to warn me. How even in death, she protected me. I'm 33 years old. I have $17 million, a job I love, a purpose that matters. I date sometimes, but carefully, slowly. My instincts are sharper now. I won't ignore warning signs again. People ask if I regret marrying Marcus. If I regret those 5 years, I don't regret them. They taught me something valuable. That love and money show you who people really are. That trust should be earned, not given freely. That a kind heart needs a strong mind to protect it. And most importantly, that surviving isn't enough. You have to take what hurt you and turn it into something that helps others. That's real strength. That's real victory. My grandmother knew that. She built an empire and used it to protect me. Now I'm using it to protect others. Marcus thought the money was what mattered. He was wrong. The money was just a tool. What mattered was what you did with it. How you let it change you. He let it turn him into a monster. I let it turn me into someone who could help. Last week, I visited Grandma Joe's grave, brought fresh flowers, sat on the grass, told her about the foundation, about Rosa, about all the women we've helped. You were right, I told her. About everything. Money to show who people really are. But it also gives you the power to do good. Thank you for trusting me with that power. Thank you for protecting me. I promise I'll use it well. The wind rustled through the trees, and I swear I heard her voice. I know you will, baby. I know you will. I drove home in my modest car to my secure house, ready for my shift at the hospital tomorrow. I'm worth $17 million, but that's not what defines me. What defines me is that I survived, that I turned pain into purpose, that I honor my grandmother's legacy by helping others the way she helped me. Marcus tried to fake my death for money. Instead, he lost everything while I found my true life. And that's justice. Real, lasting, meaningful justice. Not revenge, not bitterness, but the knowledge that I took something terrible and made something beautiful from it. I inherited $17 million, but the real inheritance was the lesson that you can survive betrayal, that you can trust yourself, that you can turn pain into power and use that power to help others. That's what my grandmother really left me. And that's worth more than all the money in the world.